Salam alaikum alaikum salam sistata matamba. Today we're doing a video on necklaces in palo mayombe. This is a video that's been requested. We're going to speak a little bit about the necklaces or charms within the Bakongo, and there are many different necklaces and jewelry because the Bakongo or the Bantu, those ethnic groups are very artistic and they have a very unique way of seeing life, and it's very beautiful. The video, I'm kind of specialize it into the necklaces, right? Not the bracelets, not the mask, the hairdos, etc., the cloth, the ritual dances, and all these things within their culture. More likely the necklaces, right? And the purpose of the necklaces that they can have. And there's so many type. So let's go ahead and start with wearing Bakongo jewelry, or more specifically the necklaces, right? Within the Bakongo in itself, right, it conveys the status of the person wearing the necklace within their society, and even their wealth, their possessions, their spiritual beliefs, and traditional functional habits. It represents all these things, right? And it lets the person know exactly, who they are and what purpose they are when they wear that necklace. It can be for marriage, it can be for health, it can signify it's an mfumo, he's a priest. It can be part of their ancestors, it can be for an inkisi, in that sense. So there's a lot, there's a lot. It's very fluid within necklaces, right? In general, even within our society, right, necklaces can mean many things, from the very rich to the occult to gangs to marriages to friends and families. We're all wearing necklaces, right, or jewelry in that sense. So within the Bakongo, within itself, it's also like that. It's very fluid and it has many purposes. So let's go ahead and get into at least three, right? Three other necklaces that, I know of. There's many more that I know, but I'm not going to make this video so long in that sense. The necklaces, one is called Maluwa or Onlua. That's the way I know it, Onlua, which is a specific type of necklace made in the Bakongo with iron and certain things. I have pictures for these things, right? The Yaka necklace from the Luba tribes or the Chokwe tribes, and the Belgian necklace, which has to do with divination in its sense, also within the Bakongo. You see, so many of them were worn to show off their prestige, or used as in rituals to call ancestors for protection, etc., and others were used even for divination. Others were used as medicine or inkisi in that sense. So, necklaces were used and bracelets were used all over for everything, for all its functions. The mulwa or onlua, it's a engraved circle brass and fumo necklace. The necklace has an opening for threading. The mulwa is also used as currency exchange. It's a piece used by the Bakete, also known as the Toyo people, right? And this is more within the eastern part of the Congo. And here is a picture, right? You can see the geometric signs that is carved within the actual necklace. You have to remember, it can also mean from the Lukasa, from a previous video of history, can be carved into that actual necklace, and the Infumo would wear, the chief of the tribe in that sense, will wear this is a beautiful necklace, gorgeous. They're very artistic people, and they can carry representing their community and their history as their Infumo, and he holds it up. The Yaka necklace, right? The Yaka necklace is a symbol of prestige and a way to summon ancestors during rituals because of its charm. The initiation society of the young people is Nkanda, which is found in the eastern Congo, right? And this is more with the Chokwe or the Luba people. They use these yaka necklaces during the rituals, and for their inkisi, right, as a form of an inkisi. What I mean by inkisi is a form of medicine or bilongo. And it has like this talisman. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the picture. You see it has a talisman, and sometimes, they can tie or they can consecrate this talisman for a spirit to get attached to it, or to represent unity, or for certain purposes, right? For a certain purpose at the end of the day. And they wear it to protect themselves from, any issues in that sense, any problems. Now, the Belge necklace, right? The Belge necklace is used as a divination tool by an Nganga. It has many small natural artifacts knotted together, used for divination and protection. Some of the artifacts withhold ancestral spirits or bisimbi. And within Cuba, we don't use the necklace so much within divination, even though I met some tatas that have necklaces that they use within their divination system. I personally don't, but I have seen it. My necklace, right, does carry my ancestors, right? And here is Dainganga, with the necklace doing divination with it. And it has, empacas and certain animal horns and little sachets and bilongo, right? Medicine is introduced, and they're representing certain things, to point out in certain directions, where's this or where's this animal, or advice in that sense. But it can help, right, with divination, because they can cast bones in the center of it, representing things, right? And I can't go so much in depth with this in that sense. Within Cuba, not many people know this, not many people practice it, but I have met, right, I have conversated with tatas who use their necklaces for divination. And that's perfectly fine. At least within my Insanda, right, or Quile. That's the way that we use within Cuba, to refer to the necklace. Instead of, the santeros use eleques, we use Quile or Insanda. Mine have my ancestors, right, in there, or has my Bisimbi spirits, let's say that, in that sense. Now that we're speaking about Cuba, let's go ahead and pick it up here. It says, right, the spiritual necklace, el collar de bandera, right? We can say Insanda or Quile. Its purpose is to protect the person who wears it. It also represents all the spirits. And we have to understand that within palo, right, or in kisi malongo, palo mayombe, it depends, the construction or the way you construct that necklace. It depends from house to house. Some people use glass beads, others use plastic. Some people put the colors in a certain way. Others are going to put tools or beads or teeth or claws. And, it all depends, but it's going to look different than La Ocha, And the way that we consecrate that in sanda or quile, right, or necklace, we do it differently, right? Every house going to have its own way of doing things. Not like La Ocha that has a procedure, and you should receive eleques when you receive certain orishas in that sense. So I'm going to go ahead and look up some pictures. These are not mine in sandas, my quiles, my necklaces at all. This is all from the internet. You see this one, it has orula, the green and yellow one. Some people have it. I respect it, but I don't tend to mix my practices with any of the others, and the colors that it has. The inkisis within palo, they are synchronized with la ocha. Many houses practice palo like that, and that's fine. That's fine in that sense. I respect it. Some might put tools, right? They might give you this one, and then they might give it to you like this. It has many things in it in that sense. If you've seen the other picture before this one, that one was an actual plastic fishing line. This one's a thread. They might give you this type of collar also, right? They might give you one like this one and another one. So they'll give you two, and this is el collar de guerra with all the tools in it. So you'll have two of them. And there's a way to put them on, and it all depends for each house. I tend not to practice this so much, but it's perfectly fine. I gone to houses like that. These are the ileques, right, that they give within la ocha. You see how the colors are similar, but it's the full necklace, right? Not little pieces into one big necklace in that sense. And the green and yellow is orula, but in that sense, some houses within palo give you these, but not orula. They might give you the red and black one for lucero, if you're like an engayo or for a protection. And that's perfectly fine. I respect houses like that. There's no issue with it. Because it might be for a certain purpose. Or even if you're not even initiated, they might give you a necklace for protection. In that sense, they'll consecrate it and they'll give it to you. But you have to understand the differences, that's not an elegua, eleke, or any of these things. It's a necklace that they made with a certain purpose, to break for a certain purpose. Because what truly matters at the end is the kangi, the knot. The knot is what matters. Even like within Africa, right, they do certain things. Like if a person has a swollen feet or an arm or a backache, they make a necklace or a charm, right, that is called a jeke. And it has certain things, and it's made with black plantain seeds, and which they're like threaded, right? They're threaded on a string and tied around that affected part to alleviate, right, those symptoms, right, for a certain purpose. And if somebody doesn't have the ailment and takes that necklaces and puts it on, it can cause issues because that kange, that knot, that it was constructed, it was tied with a purpose, and it's going to break when it fulfills its purpose at the end. Many people, right, or within Cuba, many tatas, we sacrifice a insunsu to the necklace, right, representing that this rooster is being sacrificed, and we're going to tie this knot. It gave its life to energize, right, that knot. So if death comes to take that person, it takes the rooster, right, and the knot that was tied, and it'll break. And now the person has time to go see the Bainganga or the Tata Nganga, the priest within Palo, and resolve the issue in that sense. We have to understand that the way that we construct the Nkisi and the way that is structured within Cuba is somewhat in synchronized with La Ocha. And that's perfectly fine within the colors. Many houses practice like that, and it's fine. I'm not saying that the Nsanda, right, or Quili, the necklace, doesn't exist within Palo or any of those things. We just have to respect the Nsinga Dikana, the lineages of all the Brahmas, right, of all the branches within Palo Mayombe. For Mayombe, Oriumba, Kimbisa, Changani, Santo Cristo Bombiaje, Brahma con Brahma, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Every house or every lineage is going to do things a certain way. And we have to respect each other at the end of the day. What truly matters is not the color, it's not what's in there, it's the knot. When I look at other people, right, when I look at other tatas, if I'm going to judge, I just care about the knot. Right? As long as there's something knotted, because there's other things that we do within Palo, right, como majal, una persona la prenda, right, like at the foot. They tie like a chain to the foot of the Nkisi, other stuff, other ensadas that have to do with knots in that sense. But, to each his own. Y ahí, right, with that saying, cada como tiene su maña, each house or each branch has its own way of doing things. and we have to respect it. But the majority of the part, they're going to have el collar de bandera, right? That necklace that has the multiple colors, and it's going to be constructed differently in that sense. And I respect every household, and I advise you, right, to respect every household within palo mayombe. What matters at the end of the day is the knot. If it's done with a thread, or if it's done with a fishing line, because it has to do with, you know, the hook and bisonsi. It's a different way of doing things. You just have to be very careful, right? Don't go barking up the wrong tree and you're pointing fingers to other people. This is wrong, this is right, because you don't know the reason why they do things at the end of the day. They're going to have the necklace for a specific purpose, you know, to protect whoever wears it at the end of the day for a certain cause. When you get initiated, many houses, right, as a tata, they give you a collar de bandera, and then they give you maybe just a single collar if you're an engage, or if you're an engage, they give you a collar de bandera. It depends. Each house is going to be different in that sense. So always speak with your godfather and understand what you're going to receive and the way they run the house, right? The way they do things in that sense, because palo is very fluid. Within La Ocha, you know, if you're thinking about getting initiated within La Ocha, there are procedures and there are rules that are stricter, that this is the way you consecrate and this is what you should receive with these orisha. There is a stricter procedures. Within palo, it's completely different. You know, it's more fluid. And the colors will vary within house to house. Maybe not everybody might use red and black for lucero. Maybe not everybody might use red and white for siete rayo. Maybe in that sense, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, you have to keep that in mind. When you truly understand your practice and your concepts, and you have a good head on your shoulder, you don't point a picture, right? Or you don't point your finger and talk bad about another priest or his practice because it's not the same as yours. You know, you observe and you understand things with a deeper sense, because we all have the same concept. We're tying a knot for this purpose, but you just have a different color than me. That's perfectly fine. Or you constructed it differently than me. That's perfectly fine. I met other tatas that they don't even use el collar de bandera. You know, they don't use the ensanda constructed like that. They have a specific necklace made for their, you know, their tribe, and it has nothing to do with La Ocha or those colors at all. It's done more African. That's perfectly fine too. Some don't even use necklaces. Others use bracelets. Others use copper bracelets. Others use ankles. Others use many things. There's many things for different purposes. So, you know, when you meet somebody or when you speak to somebody, or somebody comes to your house, if you're a tata, right, and you're doing a consultation, keep that in mind. Be like, maybe he came from a house that, you know, gave him these things at the end of the day for a specific purpose. I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys with Nsinga Tikana Ninga Katu Bukako. Always uphold the community. Always make the right decisions for the community. Like, share, subscribe. Leave any comments down below if you have any questions. Thank you guys for your time. Salam alaikum. Malaikum salam.